From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Elia Batul. A global summit flotilla says it's facing non-stop harassment at sea with drones, explosions, and jammed communications. This and more coming up in today's show. Keep watching Muslim News. US-based company Uber is facing a growing boycott campaign after announcing a multi-million-dollar investment in Israeli drone delivery firm Flytrex. According to Israeli newspaper Haaretz, the partnership aims to integrate Flytrex's drone technology into Uber's food delivery service, Uber Eats. Uber says it plans to begin trial operations of the drone delivery service in several U.S. cities by the end of 2025. The partnership has sparked backlash among activists and Free Palestine supporters, who have strongly criticized Uber for supporting Israel. Israel has killed at least 65,000 Palestinians in its genocide in Gaza since October 2023, most of them women, children, and civilians. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza. 3 Palestinian infants starved to death Tuesday in Gaza as Israel's months-long blockade of food and humanitarian aid continues. The babies, identified as Firas al-Qassas, Mohammed al-Arja, and Ibrahim Sakar, were taken to Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis. Families gathered in grief for prayers and final farewells. Israel has kept Gaza's borders fully closed since March 2nd, cutting off food and aid for 2.4 million residents. Famine already has been confirmed in northern Gaza. It is expected to spread to central and southern areas, including Deir al-Bala and Khan Yunis, by the end of September, according to the Integrated Food Security Phase classification. At least 442 people, including 147 children, have died specifically from hunger and blocked humanitarian aid. Israeli authorities on Tuesday closed the Ibrahimi Mosque in the occupied West Bank city of Hebron to Muslim worshippers. The closure came to allow settlers to celebrate the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah. Footage showed Israeli flags raised over the mosque. Entrances were sealed, streets deserted, and Palestinians barred from approaching. The mosque, recognized by UNESCO as the Palestinian Heritage Site, has faced restriction for decades. In 1994, Israel divided the mosque after an American-born Israeli settler, Baruch Goldstein, murdered 29 Palestinians as they prayed in Ramadan, handing most of the space to Jewish worshippers. Earlier this year, Israel shifted control of the site's administration from Palestinian authorities to an Israeli settler religious body. Hebron's old city is home to about 400 settlers, protected by nearly 1,500 Israeli soldiers. The mosque houses the graves of Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, and other prophets revered in Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. Meanwhile, hundreds of Israeli settlers forced their way into the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in occupied East Jerusalem on Tuesday for New Year rituals. The global summit flotilla, loaded with food and medicine for Gaza, says it has faced repeated harassment at sea. Explosions, low-flying drones, and jamming of communications were reported Tuesday as the convoy sailed to break Israel's siege. Activist Yasmin Akar posted a video showing dozens of drones overhead, reporting jammed radios and blocked distress calls. The flotilla includes more than 50 ships carrying doctors, journalists, and campaigners. Israeli soldiers have bombed and killed more than 64 Palestinians in Gaza since dawn Wednesday. At least 45 people were killed in Gaza City as Israel's ground assault widened. Hospitals reported mounting casualties. Al-Shifa Hospital confirmed 17 deaths. Al-Ahli Hospital reported 25. Israeli soldiers also shot dead 8 Palestinians seeking aid. Among the dead was footballer Mohammed al-Satri of Shabab Rafah Club. More than 400 Palestinian footballers have been killed since Israel's genocide in Gaza began nearly 2 years ago. Israeli soldiers and American mercenaries have killed almost 3,000 people seeking aid so far. Health officials said 37 bodies were retrieved and brought to hospitals in the past 24 hours. Australian doctor Saya Aziz, volunteering in Gaza, described the region as an abattoir. She said saving lives without equipment or medicine is near impossible. Despite heavy bombardment, more than 900,000 residents refused to leave Gaza City. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed at least 65,419 Palestinians and wounded 167,160 since October 2023. Human rights groups, as well as genocide scholars and the UN, have confirmed that Israel is committing genocide in the region. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said this week's meeting between President Donald Trump and Arab and Muslim leaders on Gaza was fruitful, and that he is pleased with the outcome. Trump also described the closed-door talks in New York amid the UN General Assembly as very successful, calling it his most important meeting. He said the gatherings included all of the big players except Israel, but added that talks with Israel would follow. Leaders from Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey, the UAE, Pakistan, and Indonesia joined the session. No details of any agreement were released. Reports say Washington wants Arab and Muslim nations to send security forces to Gaza to allow an Israeli withdrawal and to provide funds for rebuilding. Emirati news agency WAM reports the talks focused on securing a ceasefire and addressing Gaza's humanitarian crisis. Trump said, "We're going to end something that should have probably never started." As the meeting took place, Israel continued to relentlessly bomb Gaza City, killing dozens of Palestinians, starving and forcibly displacing tens of thousands. In Dallas, ICE has detained Imam Marwan Maroof, a Muslim leader who has lived in the U.S. for more than 30 years. Details coming up next. Welcome back. A Dallas Muslim leader has been detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. The Muslim Legal Fund of America, or MLFA, says Imam Marwan Maroof was taken into custody on Monday. He was stopped by ICE agents after dropping his son at school and heading to work. MLFA says Maroof has lived in the United States for more than 30 years. He first arrived as an international student, later married, and raised a family in North Texas. For 15 years, his employer sponsored his applications for permanent residence. But U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services questions his charitable activities. On the same day he was detained, his green card application was denied. MLFA, which has represented him for 6 years, says the decision echoed old findings. The group plans to challenge the ruling in both immigration and federal court. The Trump administration has fired nearly 20 immigration judges this month. Emails informed them their jobs were ending. Some were told to leave within days. This comes after more than 80 judges were dismissed earlier this year. Courts in Florida, New York, Maryland, California, and Washington State are among those hit. The International Federation of Professional and Technical Engineers confirmed the firings. Union leaders say the move undermines the justice system. They warn it worsens cases backlogs that already stretch into 2029. The Justice Department says judges failed to manage growing caseloads. It has called in 600 military lawyers as temporary judges. Requirements have also been lowered for replacements. Immigration advocates say the purge erodes due process and that it delays justice for citizens and immigrants alike. The cuts come even after Congress approved $3 billion to expand immigration courts. 3 rural health clinics in Virginia are shutting down due to the Trump administration's new budget law dubbed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. The law slashes nearly $1 trillion from Medicaid over the next decade. Hospitals and clinics nationwide are cutting jobs and closing services. Augusta Medical Group confirmed its closures are part of the law's fallout. Democrats say rural communities will be hit the hardest. Democratic candidate Abigail Spanberger campaigned in Buena Vista, one of the towns losing a clinic, calling for reversing the cuts. Experts warn the GOP's $50 billion rural health fund is only a short-term fix. Medicaid spending in rural areas is expected to fall by $137 billion. Observers say the law favors the wealthy with rural families who already are struggling for care and being left behind while tax breaks flow to millionaires. Families in Somalia are demanding justice after the U.S. military admitted its drone strikes killed civilians. Rights group Humanists, representing two families, say U.S. Africa Command's acknowledgement and empty condolences are a profound injustice. Among the victims were 22-year-old Lul Dahir Muhammad and her 4-year-old daughter, Maryam. They were killed in 2018 when U.S. drones struck their pickup truck. Relatives say Lul survived the first strike, carrying her child, but both were killed when a second missile hit. Another case was in 2020, when 17-year-old Nuru Kuso Umar died in a strike that also injured her family members. AFRICOM admits the deaths, but says it cannot provide compensation, claiming that money could be seized by militants. Families called this a cheap excuse and accused Washington of evading accountability. Since 2007, U.S. forces have carried out more than 400 strikes in Somalia, more under President Donald Trump. A mosque in Hultsfred, southern Sweden, was destroyed after a fire late Monday night. Police are treating the incident as suspected arson. The blaze spread quickly, engulfing the entire building. It previously served as a church before being converted into a mosque. Rescue official Michael Hesselgaard said the flames burned heavily and left nothing usable behind. No injuries were reported. Fire crews stayed through the night to contain the blaze and prevent it from spreading. Police spokesperson Patrick Force said investigators are working to determine how the fire started. According to Anadolu News Agency, the area remains sealed off as investigators examine the ruins as evidence. Doctors may soon be able to predict spinal cord injury outcomes using nothing more than routine blood tests. A new study from the University of Waterloo shows that artificial intelligence can analyze everyday hospital blood work to forecast the severity of injuries and even survival chances. Researchers reviewed data from more than 2,600 U.S. patients. By using machine learning, they identified hidden patterns in common blood values such as electrolytes and immune cells. These patterns reveal the likelihood of death or recovery, sometimes within days of hospital admission. The findings are significant because neurological exams are not always reliable in the early stages, and advanced scans like MRIs are not available everywhere. The World Health Organization says more than 20 million people live with spinal cord injuries worldwide. Experts believe this AI approach could make accurate and affordable predictions possible in hospitals across the globe. Gold prices climbed again on Tuesday, hitting a record $3,755 an ounce by the evening. The metal has soared 42% in the past year, moving between $2,536 and the new high. Analysts link the rally to expectations of more U.S. rate cuts. Last week, the Federal Reserve lowered its policy rate by 25 basis points under pressure from President Donald Trump. Markets now anticipate further cuts in October and December. Weak inflation and rising unemployment are adding to the pressure. Investors continue to seek gold as a safe haven in the face of uncertainty. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.